Hey, y'all, welcome back. It is Thursday. Got another episode of the Late Night Vision Show, episode 219. And we are your two favorite night hunting addiction enablers. I'm just about swallowed on my tongue right there. Or swallowed my tongue. Oh, tripping up early. Hey, we've got Mr. Jason Robertson, owner of Outdoor Legacy. What's going on? We are fighting through the summer. This heat has been brutal. We've got no rain down here in Texas. But we're still going out having fun at night every now and then, right?
I don't know if we're having fun, but we're going out at night.
We're working. We are working, definitely.
I'm going to say this. Average night after 11 p.m., 12 p.m., it's still 81 to 83 degrees, around 80% humidity. And not just that Hans and I don't like it, the animals don't like it. Because pretty much the hogs have disappeared. The coyotes, they hear you calling. They stick their head out and they're like, maybe tomorrow. So, even the deer are barely moving. It's barely tough right now at night. So
it is.
Ready for fall.
Yeah, I got in my truck the other night at 11 o'clock and it was 88 degrees, almost 90 degrees.
It's miserable.
But anyway, we've got a brand new scope that we're reviewing right now. Jason, I bet a lot of people don't even know that this thing was released. It was kind of a quiet deal, not for any reason. Maybe it's just because there's so many things going on. But we've got a brand new. This is the Bering Optics Super Yoter. Now, you already said there already are Super Yoters. There's two other Super Yoters. But this is the Super Yoter 1.5. So it's a 1.5 base magnification. We're going to get into all the specs. We're obviously going to do a walk around. You're going to get to know the ID ranges. You're going to get to see a little bit of video with it. But this is the third Super Yoter that's been released. And I think everybody's really going to like this price point. So we need to remember to tell the price and not forget the price, because that's a big part of this. But Jason, Bering Optics Super Yoter. Bering Optics always gets a lot of attention, and they put out a very, very good product.
They're good product, good value. So this scope, actually, Hans, you may not even remember this. Bering allowed us to break the news about this optic a couple months ago. I don't even remember exactly when it was. It's been a while back, but they allowed us to break the news on the Late Night Vision Show about this unit, that it was coming. We've had one for a while. We've been testing it. Really, really like this optic. Our biggest problem has just been, again, this recently, when we're really trying to use it and get video for this review, that it's just been so hot and miserable that we're having trouble. I'm wishing now, back when we had more animals and we'd been out playing with this thing, we were recording more. But we're getting y'all some video, what we can of it, to show you. It is a fantastic little scope. This is going to be the third Super Yoter in their lineup. They've got the 50 millimeter, which is the 3 power. They've got the 35 millimeter, which is the 2 power. We now have the 25 millimeter, which is their 1.5 power. And the big news on this optic is that the price is going to be $3,495, and it is available now. They started shipping these optics about a week or two ago, so they are in our hands and ready for you, the end user. Real quick, commercial plug before we jump into this full review. If you are looking for any kind of night vision or thermal optics, including this unit, any other Bering Optics, or anything else, give Hans and I a call at Outdoor Legacy. That's 877-350-1818. And yes, as much as we love putting on these podcasts, and as much as we do it for fun, we're doing this for a living. This is what Hans and I do. We sell night vision and thermal for a living. We really enjoy doing it. We enjoy talking to you, answering your questions, help you figure out which optic is right for you. You can always go to the website, outdoorlegacygear.com. That's GEAR, outdoorlegacygear.com. Or like I said, give us a call. So let's jump in. I'm going to go over some of the specs on this thing. As I said, it is $3,495, and it is a 1.5 power base mag, 640 by 480, 12 micron. So this is a high resolution unit. Very, very good image quality. It is a 50 hertz refresh rate, and it also goes up to 6 power. So it's got a digital zoom. Again, your optical mag is 1.5 power, but you can zoom it up to 6 power. At your base mag of 1.5 power optical, you're going to have a horizontal field of view of 94.5 feet. That is super wide, and that's just going to be because of this very low magnification unit. It does include internal video recording, no audio. This is rated for up to and including a 30-06 or a 338 Win Mag. Now, in the past, I think Bering was saying 308 on a lot of their stuff, but I looked here. All the Super Yoters now say 338 Win Mag or 30-06. So that's nice to kind of bump that up a little bit. It's got 8 different reticle options. You can change each of the reticles into 4 different colors if you like. There are 4 color palettes for the scope. It does have Wi-Fi streaming for a smartphone app. It has picture-in-picture. The unit uses 2 CR123A batteries. You're going to be looking at somewhere between 2.5 and 3.5 hours of battery life. We're just going to say on average about 3 hours. Could be a little more, a little less, depending on how much streaming you're doing or how much video recording, or what the temperature is. If it's really, really cold, it's not the scope's fault. The cold just eats up those batteries, so it could bring that down even below that if you're out there in those super cold temperatures. And then it will allow power from a USB-C device. So if you got like a USB battery pack you charge a cell phone or a tablet with, you can plug it right into the side, into the USB-C port, and run the scope all night long on one of those batteries. It does have the standard Bering 4-year warranty. Comes with a OEM quick detach mount. So this is just the Bering quick detach mount. Works fantastic. We really, really like this mount. There is an option if you would like to purchase the unit with a LaRue mount for an extra $200. We really think that the value for the dollar is here with this standard mount at this $3,500 price. We just think that's kind of the best deal. The unit with the mount weighs about 18.3 ounces. It is an IPS 6.6 waterproof rating, which means it can withstand water jets sprayed at it in any direction. So basically what that means is it is not submersible, but it is rainproof. So if you're out there in a hard downpour, you're good to go. And then just kind of the overall size of this unit. I'm going to kind of round these numbers here just to make it easier. It's about 7.5 inches long, about 2 3/4 by 2 1/4, 2.5. So, I mean, the big thing is you're really looking at a 7.5 inch long unit. It's very small. Again, 18 ounces, lightweight. It is just a really nice compact unit. This is a unit that would also work well if you wanted to take it off of your rifle and use it in your hand as a scanner, because it is so small and lightweight. One more thing I do want to talk about is just kind of the ID ranges. This is something people like to know, and Bering actually puts their own ID ranges, and they're saying for a coyote, it could be up to 350 yards. For a hog, it could be up to 450 yards. It's funny because Hans and I were sitting here talking earlier, and we're always conservative and realistic, and we decided on 300 to 400 yards. So I think we're right in there with Bering's numbers. I think some people are going to hear this and go, wait a minute, this is a 640 unit. Why are you telling me that I can't ID a coyote past 350 or a hog past 4, maybe 450? What's going on there? Well, this is a very low magnification unit. This 1.5 power is going to give you a fantastic image quality, a huge field of view, and we're going to get into who this is good for and why you would want this. So a lot of benefits here, but this is not a long-range unit. So if you're looking for something that you're wanting to shoot 350 to 500 yards, which we don't normally recommend at night with thermals, this is not the unit for that. Right. I mean, this is not, you would be way better off getting one of the higher magnification 640 units, or maybe even a higher magnification 384 resolution unit. Again, that's if you're going, what is he talking about? Call us. We'll help you. We can help you sort that out, figure out which one is right for you. But I just want to make the point, image quality is great, but by the time you get into that 3, 4, 500 yard range, you're not going to be looking at 1.5 power where your 640 high resolution is. It's too far. You're going to have to zoom up. So you may be at that 3 or that 6 power. So you'll have lost resolution when you digitally zoom. Again, not allowing you to identify at those super, super long ranges. Overall, fantastic unit. Hans, let's jump into this thing. I want you to, kind of show everybody you've got the unit in your hand. Show them, do a little walk around on it and what have you.
First thing you talked about, that wide field of view, the 94 feet at 100 yards, and people look at it like, well, how's that possible? It's only got a 25 millimeter objective lens. Doesn't that mean it's going to have a narrow field of view? And we get that question a lot from people, and that misconception. But no, it's not the same as a daytime optic. Digital optics are different. Really, field of view is more determined by the base magnification more than it would with the objective lens diameter. So 25 millimeter objective lens, focusable objective lens ring right here on the front as normal. I keep putting this thing in front of my face. I need to back up a little bit on the camera. The size of this thing, like Jason said, how small. I mean, 7 inches long, 7.5 inches long, very small. One of the smallest thermal scopes that you're going to find around, especially in the 640 resolution range. But you got your battery door compartment. This is where the 2 CR123 batteries go. If you want to run it off external power, you can do it right here with the USB port right there on the side. You've got your eyepiece diopter focus, a removable rubber eye cup here that you can use. I keep it on and on the scope. For me, it works out better with keeping it on. And on top, you got your 3-button layout. Obviously, these buttons, since there's only 3, the scope does more than 3 functions. You might have to use short press. Well, you will have to use short presses and long presses to get through certain aspects of the menu, and multiple button pushes, I guess, where you said you use 2 buttons at one time to do a certain function. But guys and girls, this is about as basic as a thermal scope as you can get on it. Like Jason said, it does come with multiple, actually 2 different mounting options. But what comes in the box, or in the bag, I should say, everything you're gonna need is gonna come with it. It's already gonna have your mount on the scope, so you're not gonna have to mount it. Already comes mounted. It comes with a set of just CR123 batteries. They're not rechargeable. They're just throwaway batteries, but it comes with the first set and a USB cord, so you can connect that to either a external battery pack or to a laptop or a computer, and then just a cleaning cloth. So a cleaning cloth to wipe off the objective lens and the eyepiece. That's it. I mean, everything you need is in the bag. When you buy it, a lot of people say, well, what do I need to get? Either get you an external rechargeable battery pack, and you can use any of them, or you can pick up a bunch of CR123 batteries. If you want something to buy to go along with it, that's all you need is just power. So
yeah, I'm going to say something
very
real
small,
quick.
compact scope. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. On the batteries, and I don't want to go down this big long rabbit trail, but it's a question we get a lot. Do you use rechargeable batteries? Whatever. This is something we should probably do a whole show on. Just going to say this, guys. That's totally up to you. Generally speaking, we're going to use a quality disposable CR123A. We'll buy them online in bulk. I would buy a name brand: Energizer, Duracell, Panasonic. Those are going to be your 3 best batteries. My daughter actually did a CR123A battery test for a school science fair project, and those 3 were the top. Panasonic was nice. The best. And so anyway, find a good quality battery, buy those in bulk, get them. If you want to use that USB battery pack, just use one. Don't worry yourself over it. A lot of people get overly worried about it. It says 5 volts, and I don't know. I have yet to find a USB battery pack that you can pick up at, whatever, Walmart or Amazon or eBay or wherever, that, wouldn't work. Just a standard USB battery will work. Plug it right in the side. Like I said, the cable's included in the bag, so you should be good to go there.
Right. So that is the walk around. We're going to get right into some other likes and dislikes and stuff like that. But like we always say before, if you have any other questions about this thing, make sure you give us a call, or you can comment to the video. But if you're interested in buying it, give us a call, because this thing right here, as far as the size, I mean, there's a lot of uses for this. We'll get into the uses real quick.
Yeah. Well, let's do it. I mean, let's talk about this unit. I mean, generally speaking, I think that this is, we haven't made a big deal about this, yet. We're going to do it now.
Yeah.
Here we go. We're at 640, high resolution, and a legit scope. Okay. This is not just like, well, it's okay. No, this is this exact same image quality as a, $4,600-$700 Super Yoter 50mm, just less magnification. All right. So fantastic image. And we're at $3,500. I mean, here we go, folks. I mean, who would have thought that we would be right here? The market continues to get better and better. The prices have dropped. It's amazing. I mean, I think there was probably a show we did last year at some point where we were making our crystal ball predictions about, pricing and all kinds of features and things. If you find that show, do not watch it, because this right here probably blew everything we had to say out of the water. I would have not guessed we would have this kind of a quality scope for $3,500. I mean, $3,495. It's crazy to think about how far we've come, and really where we're at.
It's one of the least expensive 640 resolution scopes on the market right now that you can get, and that being 640 resolution 12 micron. It really is. This is a groundbreaking scope for a lot of different reasons, but the price is the big thing. It shows a trend in the market, and the trend in the market is these manufacturers are competing, and they are. It's right now turning into a price war, which is good, and it's good for the consumer, but also it has. I have some concerns for the future of the products, but it's good for the customer right now, because you're getting good. Yeah, for now you're getting good quality products, and they are not skimping on the quality of the production right now. So this is there's a lot of good things to like about this scope. You want to get into the likes and dislikes?
Yeah, I
now,
want to talk about I want to talk about a couple things we like and don't like, or would like to see improved, or whatever. I mean, I think one thing, and this is, again, it's minor, but guys, if you watch our reviews, it's what we do. We nitpick. I don't like this rubber lens cap. It is tethered, which is nice, so you won't lose it. It's a little difficult to get off and on there. I just greatly prefer a rigid, plastic hinged lens cap that just, and now I will say the negative to those is guys break them off. I mean, we do get that from time to time. Someone says, hey, I broke off my lens, cap. I get that. You're not going to do that with this. I just really don't like the rubber and the tethered hanging around there. And it's just, I don't know. I mean, it's not the end of the world.
The rubber, I get. I do like the plastic, and like the other ones are all the plastic, But this is, I guess, has something to do with the smaller diameter.
Well, the 20, lens. There are other Hogsters that are 25 from Bering. Yeah, they have the same thing. So it's common.
The tethered thing, to me though, it's just dangling in the way. I don't know. It's just awkward for me. But I completely get that. One of the dislikes I have about it, Jason, and again, we say this all the time. When you get this optic, or you get any optic, first thing you need to do, sit down in your living room, kick back in your recliner, make sure right now, if it's hot outside, put your AC on and get you a cold glass of iced tea, and turn this thing on and look through the menu, and go through the menu at the same time.
Not while it's on a rifle. Just hold it in your hand.
No, hold it in your hand. point it at your feet, whatever. I don't care. But go through and play with this thing first. Now, it's not overly complicated, but the short menu, not the full menu. So when you long press the menu button, that takes you into the full menu. But the short menu is or I should say quick menu. The quick menu is just a short press of the menu button. That can be a little confusing because you've got icons at the top of the screen, you got icons at the bottom of the screen, and the up and down button control different things. It's a little bit of a learning curve there. So practice before you take this thing out. Don't let your first interaction with this scope be when you're out on the range trying to sight it in and it's 110 degrees outside and you're trying to figure out this scope.
Right.
Make sure you got it figured out a little bit before you go to the range to get it sighted in. Not overly complicated, but the short menu or quick menu, you're going to have to get used to the button interaction a little bit, but that's a very small dislike.
Okay, I'm going to say something related to this, and this is related to a phone call that I had last week from a customer who bought a super, I don't know if it was a super Hogster or super Yoter. Doesn't really matter. The layout's the same, the menu's the same essentially. So if you take this unit and you open up the manual, and Bering does provide a hard copy paper manual. A lot of companies don't do that. They do, so that's nice. There is a page you go to, and it basically explains what all the button presses do. I'm not going to lie to you. It is confusing. And you look at it, and it just seems overly complicated. And this I had a customer, he bought one. He opened the manual, very first thing, which kudos to him. I would not do that, but he did, which is smart. And he looked at that. He didn't even try to use it. And he called me because I can't use it. And I said, why? He goes, it's too complicated. I cannot figure this out. But and I was like, have you tried? Well, no, I looked at the manual though, and it is way too complicated. And my explanation of that is this. And I told him this, if I wanted to tell you how to hammer a nail into a board and you're standing beside me, that'd be very simple. I'd pick up a nail, I'd hold it, I'd take the hammer, I'd bang it on there twice, and you go, oh, okay, I can do this. But if I had to write down how to hammer a nail into the board, and I have to start with this is a hammer and this is a nail, I mean, you can write a novel. I mean, you can make this 2 pages to explain something very simple. So that's what's happening in this manual. They're having to explain, step by step how to do this, and it looks way more confusing than it is. There's 3 buttons on the top of all these Hogsters and Yoters. And once again, sitting there in your living room, like Hans said, it doesn't take long. The middle button is your menu button. Your forward button, I say your forward, the button closest to the lens, that's your up button. Your button closest to the eyepiece is the down button. The middle button, that's your select. It's easy. I mean, when you do it and you get into that, it takes seconds, minutes at most to go, oh, I got it. Up, down, press the button to select it. It's simple. But when you read that in a written form, it looks very complicated. The scope's not complicated. Don't worry about it. You got this. So don't worry. The customer I talked to is like, okay, I'm going to go back and play with it. And I haven't heard from him since. It's been several days. I told him if he needed help, we'd help him. But so with that said, agree. I think the positives on this scope, there's a lot. I think that obviously the price, the image quality, super wide field of view. I mean, that's a big deal for guys that are hunting close. We'll kind of get into that. We're talking about who it's good for. I really like that field of view. Again, small, lightweight. There's just a lot of likes on this.
Yeah, records video, internal video recording. The Wi-Fi, the app that you can use with it. I think it works very, very well. If you have questions about the app and you buy it from us, give us a call about how to do that. But the picture image on it, very, very good. I mean, and like I said, we'll talk about who it's good for a little bit later on. But 640 resolution, under $3,500. The size of this thing, being able to use it, a little over 18 ounces with the mount on the scope. So, I mean, very little over a pound, not very much at all. You don't feel it much on the rifle. If you use it as a monocular, it works great. I mean, I could see so many different uses for this thing, Jason. I mean, just running through my mind all the things that you can do with it. But, those are really the likes. I mean, you've gotten to see some video with it of some deer up close, and you're like, well, yeah, deer at 50 yard, any scope looks good of deer at 50 yards. And that's true in the most part. A lot of scopes, 50 yards, that's very short. But this is mostly a short range scope, and it has a lot of definition, a lot of detail in that short distance. So, man, there's
let's talk about that a second, because I think we're going to get in here. We can roll on into who we think it's good for, but I want to bring this up. So this scope, this is the question that I've already gotten on it, and everybody's going to have their different opinions, but in Hans and I's opinion, well, I'll give you. You don't know what the question is. The question is, okay, this scope's $3,500 and it is 640 high resolution. So why would I buy any of these other $32 to $35 or $3,800 scopes that are a 384 resolution when I can now get 640 for 35? And then some people say, why would I even buy the Super Hogster A3 from Bering at $3,200? It's a 3-power 384 by 288. Why would I even buy that? This is going to just kill the market. It shouldn't, okay? It should be another option. This should not have any effect on Super Hogster sales or on Super Yoter, 35 or 50 sales. The reason is when you understand that every magnification level has a certain range that it's good for. So this scope is in some ways a 2-in-1. All right. So let's just say you're a guy that, man, you're going to be hunting up close. You're going to maybe be in the woods sometimes. You need low magnification, wide field of view. Okay, this is a great option for that. But maybe you're going to get out in the field and you're going to do some 250, maybe 300 yard shooting. Okay, I mean, on the long end, rarely. Well, this scope can do it because you can zoom up to 3-power. And you've still got a 320 by 240 resolution, so it can do both. I do think this can be a 2-in-1. But I think if you're going to do most of that shooting out there in that 75 plus yards, then what you're going to find yourself doing is always zooming this scope up. There is very, very, very few shooters who are going to shoot over 50 to 60, and I'll go to 75, and I think that's stretching it. 50 to 75 yards, shoot over that, or that distance or over at 1.5 power. Because, man, that animal, even a big hog out there at 60, 75 yards is going to be small at 1.5 power. So you're going to find yourself zooming up. And once you zoom up, now you're at that 320 resolution. Yes, it's still good. Yes, it's still usable. But if you're always going to be doing that, then buy a 3-power. Either buy a Super Hogster and save yourself $300, or go up and consider that Super Yoter 640 50 millimeter 3-power that you don't have to zoom up, and you can maintain that very good image quality at the longer distances. So I just want to be clear. Yes, I think this scope, there will be certain people that this will fit for a dual purpose, close range and mid-range scope, and it does allow them to get a 640, but there's going to be a whole lot of people that I'm still going to say you're better off with a 384 resolution Super Hogster. So again, if you're not sure and you're like, guys, I just don't know. Again, when you get ready to buy and you're not sure what, call us. We can help you. You just, you'll be able to tell us what you're doing, what you're wanting to do, your distances, and we'll be able to figure out which one is best. But I just want to be clear. I think it's exciting. I think it's going to offer a lot, but this is not going to kill every scope between $3,000 and $4,000.
It's not, and it's, we talk about it all the time, but it's most important. It's more important than anything is to buy an optic that has the correct base magnification for what you do primarily. Not necessarily resolution, but base magnification. Now, and when you're talking about in the video that we showed, the deer at 50 yards, you can see how good they look. Well, the deer at 100 yards, and the reticle was, the X on the reticle was like almost as big as the whole side of the deer. Right. So you would definitely, even at 100 yards, you'd want to zoom up to make a more precise shot just because of the size of the reticle compared to the deer.
Not that you're
so
shooting
big.
Deer at night. Just making a point.
No,
Yeah,
exactly.
Sorry,
Right.
if it was a hog, a coyote.
Exactly. So let's talk about the uses. So 1.5 power, Jason, I'm going to run through some and you throw some out. Obviously, I would say that this is going to be great. I'll talk about non-hunting uses. How about that? And I'll let you deal with hunting. So I see this as something that's great for people that are wanting a 640 high resolution scope for property protection, home protection, being able to see in the dark. We get a lot of calls like that. Preparedness. I would say that low power base magnification scopes are the best for preparedness reasons. Something that has a wide field of view, but still has a good detection range and good ID range. But you can see stuff, have a wider field of view at the closer range, under 50 yards. If somebody's, on your property that isn't supposed to be there, something like this is perfect for it. So, like I said, preparedness, protection, home protection, land protection, cattle ranchers. If you're wanting to see and check, calves out in the field, that's great for that. If you're in the oil field business, you're wanting to check tank levels and see fluid in tanks or water tanks, see how much water's in there. Deer hunters, if you're wanting to track deer, if you're wanting to have a thermal to take out in the stand as you're going into the stand, but you want something that's weapons mountable, I think that this is a good option. And you know what I like to do with these things, Jason, especially during deer season? I love to check my deer feeders to see how much corn's in the deer feeder. Did all y'all out there know that you could do that with a thermal? That you could tell, nice. You could look with a thermal at your deer feeders and see how much corn's in there. So, I mean, that's, I would say, I probably left out some, but those are, I would say, the kind of the there's some hunting stuff in there.
And hitting on something that you're talking about there, I was thinking about somebody that may be watching this or listening to it and a little confused because, they're not that familiar with thermal. We talked up here about the identification ranges. And we were talking, again, hogs and coyotes. That's going to be the normal, animal that people are hunting with these. But that doesn't mean you can't see past that. So I was thinking about this, Hans was talking about for the prepper mindset or the property protection or what have you. Guys, if you're new to thermal, don't think that means that if there is a human standing out there at 500 yards, you can't see them. Number one, if there's a human standing out there at 500 yards, you're going to know it's a human. The reason is because a person is narrow and tall, and there's nothing else out there in nature that looks like that. So, it's not going to be a coyote. It's not going to be a deer. It's going to be somebody standing up. You'll be able to see that and determine what that is further than you would a short hog or coyote or deer or what have you. Secondly, again, even in the hunting aspect, you will be able to see that hog or coyote way out there. You just may not know what it is. You may go, hey, there's some small animal out there at 600-700 yards. I don't know if it's a deer, a coyote, a hog, a calf, whatever, but I know there's an animal out there. So I just want to be clear. If you're wanting to detect things at longer ranges, you can absolutely do it with this unit. Bringing it back around to the hunting, aspect of who I think it's going to be good for. It's going to be hog hunters. It's going to be your spot and stalk hog hunters, the guys that are getting up close and personal. I think it's good for guys that maybe you're hunting over a feeder, but your feeders are close. Maybe they're on bow stands or something. So you're, within that 20, 30, 40 yards, whereas a lot of guys are hog hunting over feeders, but the feeder is set up for a rifle stand and it may be at 100 yards. Right. So those guys are like, no, I need a 3 power or a 4. I want to take one really, really good shot. The hogs are going to scatter and run. I don't think this is it. But again, we've talked about those ranges. So if you're running closer distances, that's what it's going to be good for. I think guys in the South, and you know what? I say the South, but there's even a lot of the Midwest and the Northeast. I know guys in Pennsylvania that I talked to, maybe even some guys that are in Wisconsin that are hunting in some woodlots that it's close distance. They may not be able to see past 100 yards, small fields. I think this is going to be great for that. Again, as I kind of alluded to earlier, I think the person that maybe's doing a little bit of both, maybe you're hunting in the woods or some thick brush sometimes, but you might need to take a 200 or a 250 yard shot on that long end. So, well, I think this can do that. It can do both. But as Hans was talking about earlier, it's definitely going to be, I think, most ideal for the guy who's doing most of his shooting under 100 yards, most of the time, the majority. And so I would just say who it's not good for. I think that, it's pretty obvious, but to say it out loud, if you're a coyote hunter and you're hunting big fields, this is not for you. If you're in the Midwest or the Northwest or even in Texas or somewhere where you're looking out there at 400 or 500 yards and you might have a hard time getting those coyotes under 100 yards, they may hang up at 150, 250, 300. I don't think this is the right optic for that. I think you're going to have to zoom up too much. And again, that's why Bering offers other, optics that are made for that. So everyone has their specific purpose, and I don't think this is good for that. Hans did mention deer hunters, and I do think that is worth mentioning. If you're going to do a little bit of hunting or maybe some, property, home defense, prepper type stuff, you want something you can mount on a rifle, but gosh, I'd like to take it with me deer hunting just to hold in my hand and spot deer coming or look for that dead deer. I think this is going to be fantastic for that with a quick detach mount. Even just the Bering OEM mount that comes on it, pop that thing right off. If you put it back in the same Picatinny slot it came out of, it will return to zero. So you should be good to go. So I think there is a lot of good options for $34.95. I think we've got a really, really good scope, and I think it's going to sell well.
Absolutely. No doubt about it. $3,500, 640, 12 micron scope, but don't get in a trap. If you're a coyote hunter and you shoot all your shots at 200 yards, don't say, yeah, but I can get a 640 scope for $3,500.
Right.
Give us a call. We definitely, it is a trap, but this scope is great for a lot of great reasons and for a lot of specific reasons. So if you're interested, please give us a call. You can give us a call at 877-350-1818. You can talk to me. You can talk to Jason. We've used this scope. We've used all of the optics that we talk about. We hunt with all of them. We test all of them. We've had this one for quite a while testing it as well. So definitely give us a call. You can find anything on the website, outdoorlegacygear.com. If you want to order, if you prefer to order online, do it on the website. If you prefer to talk to somebody and order, give us a call. One of our office managers, Angela or Michaela, can take your order over the phone. But again, if you have technical questions, give us a call and ask for Hans or ask for Jason.
That sounds good. All right, guys, listen, this is the Late Night Vision Show. If you have not already done so, just reach up there if you're on YouTube and subscribe. Click the little bell icon. That'll get you notified when we release a new show. I can go ahead and tell you, we do this once a week. Every Thursday morning, we release a new show. We do a lot of scope reviews and monocular reviews, night vision and thermal. We also just do, there's times we, answer questions. If you've got questions that you want answered on a future show, general about anything, leave a comment about that in below, and we'll be glad to add that into a show at some point. We talk about coyote hunting, hog hunting, calibers, all kinds of different stuff. So definitely subscribe and follow us so you don't miss an episode. If you're listening on any of the podcast apps, we appreciate it. You can leave us a review or a thumbs up or a 5 stars or whatever your option is there. That helps us as well, and we appreciate it. But as Hans said, the biggest thing you can do for us to support us and the show is supporting us through outdoorlegacygear.com, because your business is what keeps us here every Thursday. If you're looking for Hans, you want to find some more of his stuff, you can go over to Instagram or to YouTube and search for HANSETX, Hanses, Texas. You'll find all of his hunting videos, review videos. If you're at Instagram, you'll find all kinds of pictures and stuff that he's posting over there. And you can definitely subscribe to his channel or follow him on Instagram. Outdoor Legacy. I am on Facebook, Instagram as well, here on YouTube. But again, folks, we just cannot thank you enough for coming out, watching the show, and we just appreciate every single one of you.
Yeah, thank you so much. So we'll be back next Thursday with another episode of Late Night Vision Show. We appreciate it. Like Jason said, thank y'all for listening. Thank you for watching. Y'all try to stay cool out there. If you can find some shade, find a nice shade tree. But y'all take care, stay safe in the fields, and keep making them bacon pancakes.